Enough of that erratic, silly flying. What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Here's your daily Patreon stream. Tweaking Tuesday. Usually Tuesdays are my day off, but I just love you patrons so much that I love giving you guys daily streams. So let's do a short one. We'll talk about BLHeli 32.8. And I put it onto 2 rigs already. I will put it onto a 3rd rig, show you guys how to do it, show you guys how to set the low and high PWM, and yeah, hopefully you guys will go do it on your stuff too, because it's a pretty big deal. Housekeeping, CiottiFPV.com has a million ways that you can support me. Things are going really well. Let's keep it going. And before we know it, I'll have healthcare and I can stop shilling so hard. You guys are awesome. Keep it up. Love it. Over on the Discord, I created a new channel called Schlong Range. So feel free to jump in there and, you know, talk long range. That's really all I have to say about that. The Discord is available as a Patreon perk, the full Discord at least, or if you go to CiottiFPV.com, scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can get some of the text channels as not a patron. Patreon you can join for $3 a month. That's 10 cents a day. I do daily live streams for the patrons, so it's 10 cents a live stream, and that's a damn good deal, whether you like it or not. FPV Trucker saying what's up in the chat. Finn FPV, Rick Zapata, Frank Nicholas, FPV Trucker, Lead Fingers, Ryzex, RCFPV, Mr. Huggy, Drone Pilot again, Beep Tube, Weirdo with a Skateboard is in the house, Alexander, Grant R. Ram, Donko, Ryzex again, Remy Tim in the house, moderating all over your asses. Expander, Tolkien FPV, DJ CJX, and Ram Donko. Shout out to DJ CJX. He is the newest top patron. Look at this. Does that work? Nope, that's not. That's an old one. Here, look. It's on the splash screen. There he is. Thanks again, brother. Super, super, super generous of you. I'm being tagged by people in the chat. If you want to talk directly to me, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV. That will light it up in orange for me. You can do that with each other too. If you need to talk, if you want to talk to some other person in the chat, if you type their name for them, it's going to light up in orange. So yeah, if you want to talk to me, do that. Ryzex did that and said, are there some ESCs that won't be able to update to new firmware? Or should all 32-bit ESCs be capable to update to 32.8? And could the lack of telemetry have any implications towards updates? It's a really good. That's a couple really good questions, Ryzex. None of which I know the answers to. It seemed. Yeah, I mean, I've only done it on Acon ESCs thus far. My guess is that that all 32-bit ESCs will be fine. I have no clue on the lack of telemetry. Some of my rigs I have it set up. Some of my rigs I don't. Yeah, I just have no idea. I know even less about BLHeli than I do about Betaflight. I know some stuff about Betaflight, so I guess that doesn't say much. But I don't know anything about BLHeli really. It doesn't seem like anybody really does. BLHeli is sort of a seems to be just a little bit of a mystery land. Weirdo with Skateboard says, this sounds like a stupid question, but I'm sure you'll know. I'm still quite young. Basically, I'm crazy about this girl, but we're also good friends. WTF to do. Weirdo, I'm the last person that you want that advice from, man. Finn FPV says, have you tried the new firmware yet? Curious if it makes a noticeable difference for smoothness. I think it just came out today, so I don't think anybody's really tried it yet, Finn. But I know it's been in like unstable, and there's Ryzex saying that it's amazing. So yeah, hopefully it's really good. If it stops raining, I'll get out this week and give it a try because I'm putting it on everything. Rick Spada says, have you ever tried the Flywoo motors? I've got a set of the Robo 1202.5 11500s for 1S long range micro build. They seem pretty smooth. Also wanted to get your opinion. I have not, Rick. Flywoo motors, I have not tried at all. I did get a Flywoo 1507 at one point that was very notchy. But I never actually bought more than one, so I don't know a thing about the Flywoo motors. If any of you beautiful collective bastards have had experience with the Flywoo motors, type Rick Zapata's name in the chat and tell him your experience. I'm trying to fight off a sneeze. I started to do a yawn. That was weird. That was very confusing. My face is very confused. Ryzex says, doesn't work on the Hobbywing X rotor. 60 amp 4-in-1. Oh my god. Come on, Hobbywing. Get it together. I've heard a lot of negative stuff about Hobbywing ESCs recently, for the record. I've had terrible luck with them in the past. I've had like 5 or 6 let go on me. So I don't know if I'll ever try one again. I don't know, it's weird. Like, a lot of pro pilots that are sponsored by them say that they're absolutely the greatest thing ever. I know Vanover is one of them. It's tough, man, when you get sponsored by a company. It's like, well, what do I do here? I would think that if you're sponsored by a company and their stuff isn't great, you would just not talk about it, right? I would hope that you wouldn't double down, and which would lead to other people wasting their money. But I don't know. That's just me. Leadfinger says coated carbon fiber in metal at work today. Worked surprisingly well. Shiny Source 1 frame incoming. That sounds insane, Leadfingers. What kind of metal? Out of curiosity. Athix in the house. June Loco says, I heard you getting DJI with that. Yeah, right. Maybe, I mean, stimulus check will pretty much go towards debt, realistically, but if anything, I'll be getting health insurance with it. I won't be getting my stimulus. I looked it up until, like, towards the end of April. So it'll be a good late birthday present, I guess. Maybe knock out some debt, maybe get some insurance going. We'll see. Definitely not getting DJI, though. That's for certain. Athix says, I would recommend Quad 66 for a lot of 1S and 2S motors. What's Quad 66? Is that a company making motors, Athix? All right, cool. So let's dive directly into BLHeli 32.8. Here comes a link to where you need to go to get it. So it's not available in the existing configurator. There's the link in the chat. I'm going to drop it a couple times just so it's super obvious. You go to that link, it pulls up this page here, BLHeli Suite, and you got to get the new BLHeli Suite. So for me, it was this here, macOS 64, and downloads down here, which you can't see because my big fat face is in the way. Downloads down here, and then it's a whole new version of the configurator that you have to install. It'll replace your old configurator. And so here it is, and you can see here is the magic right here. PWM frequency low, PWM frequency high. I don't have a rig hooked up right now, which is why it says 24 on both. But let me hook a rig up and we will flash. I'll also show you guys the best, quickest way to flash everything all at once on BLHeli 32. So, where's the fourth rig? Here we go. Let's flash the high-speed big boy rig with the 6-inch arms. So you're gonna hook up USB as if you were plugging into Betaflight, but then you're also going to give it battery power because you need to power the ESC. This rig has propellers on it, so I'm going to use my ViFly and I'm going to set it to 2 amps so that if the quad decides to go bananas, it'll trip this thing at 2 amps before it can spin the propellers up hard, or maybe at all. I don't know if 2 amps is... 2 amps is probably enough to spin the propellers up a little bit. But, I mean, it would be totally safe. For the record, it's been a long time before I've heard anybody having issues with BLHeli spinning up during a flashing process. So, technically speaking, we could just give it full voltage, but the ViFly is here. There's no reason not to use it. It's way easier than cracking the prop nuts and pulling the propellers off. But for you guys, pull your propellers off, and when you're done doing this, go into Betaflight, Motors tab, and spin your motors up. I just did that on this rig after the last time I flew it, so there's really no reason for me to, but perfect opportunity, man. Every time you guys plug your rig in, take that as an opportunity to spin your motors up in the motor tab. You want to do that as often as possible to build your internal encyclopedia of what motors sound like when they spin up. Just trust me. Just do it and just do it as often as you possibly can. So now we're going to come down here to connect. Now that we have battery power, it will connect. And then we're going to go to check. And that's going to connect to all 4 ESCs. It's going to tell you some info here. Just hit OK. And as you can see, the PWM frequency high and low went away. And that's because this is only on 32.7, which you can see right here. It's on 32.7 currently, and 32.8 is required to get that high and low PWM and all the other new stuff. So here's where you want to go, right here. ESC flash up on the top bar. This will let you do all 4 at once. Click on this, and then currently on current ESC on 32.7, flash to 32.8. And you're just going to, since it automatically selects all 4 of them, I mean, if you did want to do them individually, you could, but that's silly. Leave them all clicked, hit flash selected ESC, and just wait. It takes a while. And it's just going to do its thing, and that's that. That's how you get it on the 32.8. And then once it's done, we will... this is also why it's really important to use your VTX tables and to set up... low power VTX until first arm, because right now the VTX is just sitting there at 25 milliwatts. It's not going to get super hot. It's not going to cook itself. Yeah, it's not going to burn your fingers. So yeah, that's why. It's one of the many reasons. It's one of the few reasons, I guess I should say, that the VTX tables are a good thing. Athix says it's a channel that does a lot of 1S and 2S builds and tunes. Ah, got it. Very cool, Athix. I'm going to... There's no way I'll remember, so I'm just going to go here and copy and noodles it. All right, very cool. Thanks for the suggestion, my man. So this is charging on through here. It's on ESC3. Let's give it a little bit more time. Ramdago says, for the front and rear motors, can the front and rear motors be tuned separately? They cannot. For Dead Cats was thinking 38.2 might. Is this the open source software also? I have no idea on the open source question. But, oh, well, I guess in here, yeah, you could. I guess you could tune the fronts from the rears differently in BLHeli here, but you can't do it in Betaflight. Huh. Yeah, I wonder if Betaflight would play nice with that. That's an interesting thought. That never crossed my mind. Leadfinger says, keeping which metal I used for myself. Nice. NDAs are can't ever keep up with what part is a secret. If I coat my frame, I'll get permission to spill the beans. Very cool. Weirder with a Skateboard says, CiottiFPV is cereal a soup? I just recently heard somebody talking about the is cereal a soup thing. I don't think it is. I think soup has to be hot, I guess. I don't know. But what the hell do I know? So, hey, now it's done, right? Look, everything is on 32.8, as you can see right there. Boom, 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 boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 32.8. Now you're going to click ESC Setup. That's going to take you back to that first screen. And here we go. PWM frequency low. So when BLHeli decides that it wants to use the low PWM, I want it to be on 24 kilohertz. And then when it decides that it wants to use the high PWM, I want it to go up to 48. And I set my startup beep volume nice and low so that when I plug the quad in here at 2 a.m., it doesn't wake up the whole neighborhood. But then for our beacon signal volume, I turn that up high. This controls how loud the ESC beepers are. Beacon delay, I always set at around 2 or 3 minutes. Lately, I've been doing 3 minutes just because when it triggers the beacon delay. Basically, if the ESC hasn't had any communication with it and it's still been powered for 3 minutes and 9 seconds, it'll just start beeping. So like if it's up on a tree, for example, it'll start beeping and you can hopefully find it. And that's pretty much it, man. I don't really change anything else in here. I do turn on brake on stop. That just stops the propellers a little bit more quickly when you disarm it. God forbid there's some kind of an emergency. And that's really it. There's some other stuff in here. There's this stall protection. There's S-Bus channel. There's S-Port physical ID. I got to do a little bit of reading on those to see what the hell they are. Non-damped mode, I think that might be new as well. I'm just really interested in the low and high PWM. So now that we've made all these changes, you're just going to go down here to right setup, and you want to make sure that, and they are by default, you want to make sure that 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all here. You don't want it to look like that or something. That would only write to the single ESC. So just make sure that all 4 of these are here. By default, they will be. Click right setup. Give it a second. And there you go. Right OK on ESC 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's it. Disconnect, pull power, and you're good to go. You've got 32.8. If any of you guys have done the reading on any of the extra features, drop it in the chat and tag me so that I see that you dropped it in the chat, and we'll talk about it. So that's it, man. That's 32.8. Hopefully it's really good. I mean, it's a stable BLHeli release, and BLHeli, I mean, they take a long time to get their stuff done, and what that usually means is that they test the hell out of it. So in theory, it'll either make no difference or a little bit of a difference. I really doubt that it'll make anything worse. But technically it could. You never know. Yeah, so there you go. I now have 3 rigs on 32.8. This one will just sit on the shelf for a while. This is kind of a very specific rig for just going really fast. This isn't a freestyle rig. This isn't anything other than like a really high-speed chase rig, but that's okay. No wrong answers. I got some liquid hot molten TPU on my sweatpants here today. That kind of sucked. Black Moses rewind about 5 minutes. We just talked about it. Beep, beep, beep. Drone Pilot says after flashing check motor direction. That's a good idea. Let me check that on this rig over here that doesn't have propellers on it. Drone Pilot, have you had issues with that in the past? Sounds like you might have. That doesn't sound like something that just comes out of the blue. That sounds like something that's bitten you in the ass before, and now you think about it. So to do that, I'm just going to do it in beta flight. Alright, we're just going to come in here. We're going to come into the Motors tab. Click OK. And just arrow up. You can just arrow up if you hover your mouse pointer over one of these and you click it. Well, the master one, yeah, you click it and then you arrow up, and the little circle turns blue there, and then you can just really slowly increase the speed. And you can literally increase the speed so gradually that you can look at the motors and see which direction they're spinning, which is really cool. Out, 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 and out. So this rig is good. I'm going to assume that the other rigs are good, but it's a really good idea to check that. Kind of no reason to not check that. Let me see what these motors sound like, just for the sake of it. They all sound really good. Cool, so there you go. That's that. 32.8, hopefully it's really good. Double A's in the house, what's up, brother? Frank says, where'd you get the Blue Jay shirt? This was from FPV Crate. And I do have an affiliate link to FPV Crate if any of you guys are shopping there. If you didn't know, FPV Crate has like a full retail store, and they have tons of they have like more Radio Master stuff than anybody else. And they have really good deals on some stuff. Like they buy in very big quantities. So they have stuff cheaper than Get FPV every once in a while. So check them out, and use my affiliate link if you end up buying something and you don't mind. It's over on CiottiFPV.com. Weirdo with a Skateboard says, have you ever heard of gazpacho? It's Spanish cold soup. I have. Yeah, that's true. That's interesting. Gazpacho is always served cold, and it is soup. Michael Blade says, hey, and Frank dropped the link. All right, cool. Caught up on chat. What else am I doing here? FPV Exchange very kindly sent over a prototype 5, and I am going to be assembling this and giving it the old arm end bend test to see how strong it is. And I might even, I think what I'm going to do is take the is pull the moon goat apart and drop the squid into the prototype 5, and I'll give the prototype 5 frame a little spin, and then I think the moon goat frame here is going to be in an upcoming Patreon giveaway for the 5-inch tier. So yeah, it'll be a slightly used moon goat frame for somebody. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I don't think I'm going to do that today. But I got a lot of bench work coming up, man. I got to really kind of put my head down one of these days and just blast through some of this bench work. Maybe we'll do like a 12-hour stream, and I'll just do 12 hours of bench work. We'll see. DJ says they are out of quite a bit of the Radio Master transmitters. Yeah, I think they mainly specialize in like the parts rather than the transmitters themselves. But I'm not a Radio Master guy. I use a 4.5-year-old QX7, and it's been totally fine. What else? I guess that's about it. Those are some of the things that I got going on at the moment. 32.8 is pretty exciting, though. The variable PWM could have a real effect on zero throttle stability and throttle chop bobbles, which are both very closely related. What do you guys want me to do? Do you guys want me to piece this prototype 5 together here on the bench? Do you want me to solder up more of these ripsqueak motors? Do you want me to see if I can finish the Stables Session 4 edit? Or... no, those are your options. Those are your only options, so pick them. Pick from those options. Just type whatever you want in the chat, and if there's a little bit of a consensus, I'll do what you guys want me to do rather than doing what I want to do. I know what I want to do, which is to jump back into that edit to try to get that thing done. But you know, it's a team effort here, right? Okay. Let me get my phone plugged in here. It's about to go dead. All right, what do you guys want? Mr. Huggy says, let's see the frame first. What do you mean, the prototype 5? There. Now you've seen it. Guillermo wants me to sing a song. Nobody wants that. DJ says the prototype frame looks neat. RC Ritter prototype 5. Athix proto 5. All right, so it looks like we're doing the prototype 5. Okay, cool. So let me get some of this stuff out of the way. Let me also get this build unplugged here. All right. And what a mess I have created. Oh God, what's happening? Okay. Well, since I'm going to be piecing this thing together, let me do this. Let me get this camera up as high as I can get it, because it's going to be a lot of hands going on. It's going to be very handsy. Hansy. Okay. So we got that. Let's move these little fellas over here. This should be enough space for me to piece this thing together without stuff flying all over the place. Let's see what happens. What is this? Prototype 5 front end set 2 million. I think what Nevin. Hey, by the way, yeah. Again, this was sent over to me by Nevin from FPV Exchange. If you want to support me, you also need to support Nevin, because Nevin supports me more than everyone else combined almost. Sometimes it feels like. He's a super cool dude. He works at a hospital. He's literally saving lives all day, and then he comes home and builds an awesome website for us all to trade our gear on. So yeah, get on over to fpvexchange.com, get yourself signed up, and start using a really, really cool website that will get the extra stuff that you have laying around into the hands of somebody that can use it and get some either cash or traded parts over into your hands so that you can, build more stuff. I don't know why I put the scissors back over there. Uper says, try buying the props for the Baby Hawk 2 HD from GetFPV and the shipping is astronomical. That's weird. Usually GetFPV shipping is pretty good. Although, that being said, I usually buy multiple things at once. Like, I can't remember the last time I paid shipping on an FPV website. I just always make sure that I hit the shipping minimum amount. The free shipping minimum amount, I should say. Which I believe on GetFPV is $50. Usually it's on most websites it's $50. So yeah, just do that, man. Just buy more stuff. If you get in trouble with your wife, don't blame me. Or blame me, it's fine. She'll probably never meet me. And if she does, I probably deserve to get slapped. Alright, so we've got a base plate here. We've got a top plate. And then we've got the weirdest looking X plate ever. Looks like a boner when you cover half of it. Look at that. It's a boner sandwich plate, or X plate, whatever you want to call it. And then we've got the front camera plates here. And I'm assuming that these are for micro cameras, which are 19 millimeters wide. I might end up doing a nano camera in here and using one of the little adapters, one of the little 14 to 19 mil adapters, because I have moved over to nano cams on all of the yeah, good call, Frank. On all the glides, dash prototype. No, wait. FPV cycle prototype 5 assembly. I know how to spell. All right, cool. And away we go. Okay, so I have not really looked at this frame in much detail to know how the thing goes together, but I'm sure that we're going to need these press nuts. So I'll cut that little capuchin opened here. I'm almost guaranteed to need these conicals. I like to use my own standoffs, but just for so I can get some cool colors going on, but just for the time being we'll use the black standoffs. And then for the rest of these bolts, I'll bet you that we don't need these. I bet you these long bolts are for the stack, which I don't need at the moment. I'll probably need these guys for the arms. So let's cut these open. And I bet you that'll be all that I really need. So let me take a look at this and start kind of futzing with it. It would probably be a lot easier to just look at the pictures of this frame on fpvcycle.com, which I do have an affiliate link to. So if you're going to do an FPV Cycle order, go to CiottiFPV.com and then click the FPV Cycle link there and then do your order, and I'll get some free money, which you guys have been doing, which is super awesome. So Okay. So these are going to be the main arm bolts, more than likely. So let's see what that kind of looks like. Now let's put them on top. Okay, so I guess it's going to go that way. Okay, yeah, there it goes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be arm, 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 and then we're going to have these guys here. Oh, I see what Bob did. Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. So that's a nice big... Okay, so one of the things about separating the front arms from the rear arms here is that, like, so old school frame design, all 4 arms would come into the center and they would butt up against each other. Kind of like that, right? But then when we realized that we wanted to separate the stack bolts and make sure they don't go through the arms, one of the approaches was to do what Bob did and separate them like this. The problem when you separate them like this is now the left and right arms in the front only meet up with the left and right arms in the front. And what becomes really, you never want your arm to just only be controlled by the screws, because that'll vibrate the screws out and it'll also break the screws, believe it or not. You need to have your arms butted up against each other like this for a little bit of extra strength to take some of the shock load off of the screws. So this is a really neat design. I didn't realize he did this, but this is a great big area here in between these 2 arms to really make this connection stronger. And if you can see, so if I separate it in the one direction, it does that, and if I go in the other direction, it kind of just goes in like that. But here's the thing, right? When you're flying forward and you hit something, it's gonna try to do that, and that's the really strong direction. You're not too often gonna have force going like this, which it looks like could potentially be a little bit of a weaker direction, but it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what happens when energy gets put into these things. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. I like that. And then here's the Boner X plate, and that's going to go in there. And the big holes, again, are for the outer arm and the inner arm mounting holes. One of the things that Bob does that I really love is he uses these really nice press nuts, which don't require the carbon fiber to be pocketed, which is a really big deal, and it makes them a lot stronger. So we're going to insert those into the base plate here and get this thing going. And I'm going to show you how to do that. I wonder if he wants those put in here as well. You know, I am actually going to look on the website. So, you know, if you're ever going to FPV Cycle, here's what you should do. Go to my link tree, and then just click that to get to FPV Cycle. You can see up here, there's that is the affiliate link there. By clicking that link, this has dropped Ciotti into the shopping cart. So if I were to do an order now, my affiliate link would, you know, work or whatever. I don't know. Make up your own words. So we're going to go into frames, and then we're going to come down here to... Where is it? There it is. Prototype 5, production batch 2. Look at that. So there's already some updates. Which one is this? Oh, okay. Oh, I see. So, look what that says. Front end set 2mm. And then when I look down here, updates to this batch. The entire front end has been redesigned and is way more beefy. The camera plates are 2mm thick. So yeah, this must be the new little bag with the new camera plates. Very cool. I will use the old camera plates first, see how they hold up, and then I'll replace them with the new one. Okay, so I just want to take a quick look at a couple pictures to see where he's using the press nuts. So there they are on the outside of the arms, like we talked about. Oh wait, no. I can probably click this and blow it up. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so they're on the outside there. That's awesome. And it looks like they're also on the inside there. Although let's see if we can get a... Okay. Let's see if we can get a better picture of that. Yep, there they are. There they are on the inside. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is cool. And then, okay, so yeah, it comes with 10 of them. And here are numbers 9 and 10 of these press nuts for the back of the GoPro. Tiago says, how many screws to remove the arms? 2. From what I understood, the stack screws are independent. Absolutely. The stack screws are all out here. Here's all the stack screws. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. I'm assuming 30 by 30, 26 by 26, and 20 by 20. And yeah, double. Ooh, that's cool. I didn't realize that. So front and rear, you can run 20 by 20 or 26 by 26 or 30 by 30. That's pretty neat. The Glide did not do that. Oh. This will be a shark bite build, is what that means. Because I bet you the big shark bite VTX will fit beautifully in the back of this thing. Oh yeah, this is totally going to be the shark bite build. So because the Moon Goat has a double 30 by 30 stack, so I'll put the double 30 by 30 stack in the front of this thing. I'll put the double 30 by 30 stack here. Hopefully there's enough vertical space for it. And then I bet you in the back here with the 20 by 20 mounting, I bet you there's enough space for the kind of beefy shark bite VTX. Mark Kunoff was messaging me earlier, and he told me that the new shark bite update has full OSD. And one of the reasons that I've resisted going to DJI, I mean the main reason is because it costs a fortune, but one of the other smaller reasons is that the OSD is like brutal. Like you can't, yeah, it's just a mess. But apparently now with the new shark bite update, they have full OSD, and that's a really big deal. So this is going to be a shark bite build. That's pretty cool. My plan was to put shark bite in the second Cinesplorer, but I don't have motors for that, and I wasn't really looking forward to having to shell out like $100 or $80 or whatever for a full new set of motors. So this is pretty cool. This will allow me to give shark bite a really hard test with a bunch of crashing and stuff like that. Like putting it in the Cinesplorer, I was like, well, yeah, I mean, I'll get to check it out, but I won't get to durability test it with 80 mile an hour collisions and stuff like that. So this is pretty cool. Yeah, sweet. Shark bite prototype 5 with F40 Pro 4s coming at you. Let me just really quickly look at a couple more pictures here of this. Oh, okay, that's where that weird looking piece goes on the bottom and the front there. Okay, that's pretty slick. And then I think that's pretty much all I needed to see. What other images are there? There it is, all built up. There's that, and there's that. Okay, cool. Let's get to it. Let's do the things in the places. Every single thing in the chat has me tagged at the moment. Athix says this is going to be an awesome build. I agree. Chris Croft says, what is this frame for compared to the Glide? It's just Bob's next frame. First was the Flow Ride, then was the oh god, I forget what the second frame was called. The Glide was his third frame, and this is just his fourth frame. Tiago says, cool shark bite builds. Beep Tube likes shark bite as well. Mr. Huggy says, look like the new frame is an evolution of the 4-ride frame. Kinda, yeah. I mean, I guess you could... I'll bet you that he was developing the two sort of at the same time, and if, my guess would be that the 4-ride actually came from... who knows. Freelo just says, it's the proto-shark. I might go with that for your load. That's a good one. BeepTube says, SharkBite's next update is supposed to support full OSD. They just updated it to support more of it, but it isn't full yet. Okay, good to hear that. Chris Croft says, you do realize it's actually cheap to buy a Nebula Vista. What? You do realize it's actually cheap to buy a Nebula Vista than SharkBite camera plus VTX plus antenna. I'm not following, Chris. Sorry, man. Feel free to tag me and try again. I just can't figure out what you're trying to say. Sorry, man. I'm sure it's just me being a smooth-brained spaz. Tiago Rima says, do a croppable frame build so that you can do a frame assembly video. Do a croppable... What's a croppable frame build? Croppable frame build. Do a frame assembly video. What? I don't know what that means, Tiago. But the build will be live streamed for sure, as we are here. Let's do a little bit more. Oh God, I just stepped on something. What am I stepping on? No guarantees that I'll get through this whole assembly, by the way. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter stream. What did I step on? I stepped on something that was very, very solid. That was strange. Okay, so we need to put these press nuts into the outer armholes and the inner armholes. So here's how you do that. Well, here's how I like to do it. I grab one of these little shorty screws out of the bag. I grab my MIP 2.0 millimeter driver because the MIP drivers are really, really precision cut on the end here, and they really lock in to the screws really well. And it doesn't look like it looks like this is the same on one side versus the other, so that's good. You put the screw through the hole. You take the press nut. Oh, farts. You take the press nut, and there's what the press nut looks like. Let's see if this Logitech will do anything valuable. All right, now I should show you the press nut in case you haven't seen these before, so give me a second. Let me manually focus this useless webcam. Sure, Logitech. Just do whatever you want. All right, so here's what these really, really, like, these are the press nuts you want. These are really the only press nuts that you should be using. You see, man, it is hard to see it. So it's got the nut on the one side, but then here on the other side, see how there's little diagonal fins there? So those drive themselves into the carbon, and they really lock in, and it really does a good job. I've used press nuts in a lot of different frames. These are the first press nuts that have ever held up and like not stripped out. So yeah, these are really, really nice. And here's the best, and yeah, like I said, I'm showing you my preferred way to install them. So short little M3 screw, go through the hole that you want to install it in, and then you want it diagonal fins down because you want to drive those diagonals into the carbon, and then you just crank the screw basically. Like as you crank the screw, it's going to come to a point where it kind of tightens up here, and then yeah, you just crank the screw home, and as you do that, it's going to spin the press nut into the carbon. And you're cranking the screw to the right, which is the same direction as the fins. So the little fins are going to just rotate the little screw in, and Bob is the name of my uncle. It's really not. I don't have any Uncle Bobs. And there it is. That's it. It's now buried in there. Let me do the manual focus thing again, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. Yeah, now it just buries itself down like that, and it's flat against the carbon. And like, well, here, let me take the screw out, and you can kind of see those little fins. Once you get your hand on these and you look at it, you'll go, oh, okay. It's pretty obvious when you actually look at it. But yeah, see how it just kind of drives itself home in there, and the carbon is not pocketed, so you haven't like removed a bunch of carbon material, and the little fins just kind of drive themselves in there, and yeah, it's this is the first time I've not hated press nuts. Up until these press nuts, I was very anti press nut because just having an M3 hole with an M3 lock nut on top was, I mean, a little bit more of a pain in the ass, but much stronger. And then here's the trick. The trick is to not. Well, the trick is to remember to put them all onto the same side. If you accidentally put one into the opposite side, you can remove it and reinstall it on the other side, but it's not great. You want to try to not do that. But yeah, so let me just do 7 more real quick. The other cool thing about these press nuts is that you can install them. All the other styles of press nuts have to be done at the factory, and that adds cost and time. So with these press nuts, you can do them yourself, and it's really easy. I mean, like, there's 2 of them done already. And every single time you crank these things down, they just bury themselves deeper. So it's like, yeah, it really works well. And as I say that, I think I might have stripped one of these out. Yep, I put it in there sideways. So I wasn't paying attention. I was talking to you guys, and I stripped one out. That's very annoying. Yeah, I totally put it in there sideways. That was stupid. Okay, top tip, don't cross thread your press nuts, because you'll strip them right out. What a jerk. Yeah, it's not, so Frank Nicholas says the first press nut is not flush against the plate. That is true. It really doesn't need to be, because as soon as you install the arms, and like every time you install the arms, you're just going to pull it down. So it's going to just kind of self-seat itself. Damn. That was stupid. Okay, yeah, so pay attention when you're putting in there. When you're putting those in there, make sure that you don't put them in sideways. Well, so here's how you remove one. Now that I stripped this one out, you can just kind of grab it and just spin it the opposite direction. Left loose, and those little fins will just kind of, yeah, pull it up and out. I actually have a little set of carburetor wrenches that I use for this sort of thing. And there we go. And so we're just remove that, and you can see that it kind of digs into the carbon a little bit. But I mean, that's on purpose. That's to make sure that it doesn't you know, back itself out. So you want that. Friendly Nomad says, why did you pick the prototype frame? I actually didn't, Friendly. FPVExchange.com sent this to me. He says, I picked it because I like the 5-inch 4-ride so much, but wanted something more durable. That's a perfectly good reason to pick it. I am a little bit behind on chat. Athix says, I had a racer buddy that told me the VTX and CAM electronics are made of wet TP and will break if you breathe too hard on it. I hope that's not the case. I'm kind of interested in shark bite. Yeah, I guess we'll find out. Friendly Nomad also says, just built 2 prototype 5 quads. They're the best. Frank Nicholas says, Vista Nebula VTX and micro camera and antenna are less expensive than the equivalent shark bite parts. Unfortunately, nobody has sent me DJI stuff for free, which is the reason that I'm doing the shark bite testing. And then oh yeah, and then there's Tiago's. Tiago clarified himself and said, when you're assembling the frame, make it so that you can edit to an independent full build video. It's hard to find FPV cycle frame build videos. Well, hopefully, yeah. The whole edited frame build thing, like, it's just, it just takes so much time to do. I know that I should do it, but ugh. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how to do that either. Like I don't know how to make the technology do that for me. Let me think through this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I think I have an extra. I hope I have an extra lock nut since I stripped that one out. Where would those be? Those would be in here, maybe? Because I do, like, full-blown need an extra lock nut. Hey, look at that. I've got 2 extras. Very good news. Okay, cool. So I've got 2 extras, and they're a little bit taller. So, because OCD is real, I'm going to use both of these tall ones somewhere, and then I'm going to keep one of these extra little ones as my spare. Yeah, if I was going to do a frame build, I would also not do it with this horrifying Logitech camera. I gotta be honest, the whole frame build video thing, I don't think it's for me. It's just so much work, and I think if I'm gonna be doing editing, I would much rather be doing it with flight edits. Like I have so much flight footage, and I actually enjoy doing flight edits. Whereas like editing a frame build is just not gonna be something that's really fun for me. But that's why they call it work. So I'll think through the technology side of it. Well, I gotta be honest. This is one of the tall ones that I just put in, and it went in there much easier. So I think I maybe prefer the old school taller lock nuts that Kebab used to give you with the Glide. But I've only put in one. Well, yeah. Let's see. I'll do more of these new school ones in a second here. I mean, I was like fully not paying attention. I didn't even think about the press nut going in there crooked. Like I didn't even. That just wasn't even a thought process to me, and I was just cranking away on it as hard as I could. Because you do have to give these a little bit of muscle here. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I mean, those didn't even remotely try to cross thread. Let's try another one of these new school ones. These new school ones are just like half as tall as these old school tall boys, and I like that from a standpoint of them not getting in the way of electronics and whatnot on the top of the base plate. But I hope that them going in crooked doesn't become a thing. So yeah, I mean, I'm just taking like 1 second to look at this and make sure that it's not going in crooked, and it's not. Or is it? Well, here's something that I can do. Just grab that little carburetor wrench. So here's the other way to install them: is you kind of get them started, and then you take your wrench, and it's why it's got the a hex head on it. You can just take a little wrench, or probably even just grab it with like pliers or whatever, and just crank it the rest of the way in, and those little diagonal fins are just going to drive themselves down. So I'm just going to do that here, just to get it kind of in there. And interesting, it's wanting to it's not wanting to really sit in the carbon quite right. Let me try this. Let me just try to give it a little, oh boy, try to give it a little help. Come on, little friend. It's the carbon is probably a little bit mangled from when I hashed it up on the first try. Let's see what's going on here. Let me do this. Let me take the screw all the way out. The screw is kind of getting in the way, and I'm just being lazy. Okay, that's out now. Let's see. Let me just give this a little love here. See what happens. A little bit of needle nose plier love. I mean, that looks nice and flat now, so let me put the screw back on there and pull it back down through, and I bet you it'll be okay. I think it maybe just kind of like wallowed out the carbon a little bit crooked from when I was being all stupid, and then when I put this one back in, it was kind of trying to do the same thing. So let's see. Let's give this a little bit of tightness, and it looks like it's going nice and flat now. This one side is still wanting to sit up a little bit. Let's try the wrench again. Give it a little rotation here. Oh, I'm using the wrong size wrench. That's 5mm. I need, oh boy, sorry guys. Let me just use these guys. And okay, that was a little tiny bit. That might have been all it needed. Looks pretty flat in there now. That looks pretty good. Give it a little tiny bit more. Yeah, okay. I think that's exactly what happened. I think the first time that I put it in there, it just made the carbon get a little bit angry, and I just needed to give it another little go. I don't know. It's still a little crooked. I'm a little worried about that. Gotta be honest. It's a tiny little bit crooked in there. Let me give it another little blast of torque from the wrench, or from the driver rather. All right, let me back this screw out and see what it looks like. Interesting. I've never had this issue with these press nuts before, but these are also quite a bit thinner. Let me see if there's any... yeah, it's starting to strip again. Damn. And it is in there crooked. Well, hell. Man, I've put a ton of these press nuts in and I've never had this issue. I don't know if I like these little thin ones. Let me try this little trick again here. On the outside. What I'm guessing happened is when I put it in that first time and I wasn't paying attention, it like those fins kind of like mushed the carbon in a weird way, and now it's and now there's like carbon built up on the outside. I don't know how else to explain it. It's really tough to explain what I believe is going on here. Oh, okay, there we go. There we go. That's what I needed to do. I think that's it. I think that's got it. Now, I just needed to, yeah, that would explain it. Like just when it rotated in on that first time when it cross-threaded, it just pushed the carbon around in a bad way. And I just needed to kind of mash it through. All right, so let's see. I'm going to really crank on it this time. And it's either going to strip it out or it's going to seat the thing all the way. So although let me think about this. I'm cranking it on the bottom. Maybe I should be cranking it through another piece of carbon. Nah, I've always done it like this. Let me just give it a little schmageggy here. Oh yeah, there it goes. So yeah, now it's getting tight and not stripping out. And it's not quite flat. Let me give it another little oompa. Alright, it just stripped. Okay, I don't like these new press nuts. These new press nuts are you can't really crank on them. They're not here, look at the difference. You can totally see the difference. Here are the old ones that I've had really good luck with. See how tall that is? Here are the new ones that I just stripped 2 out of. Yeah, Huckleberry, your stuff went in the mail today, brother. Thank you for giving the info to tweet. Old ones that I like, new ones that have stripped out 2 in a row. So, I'm going to shoot Bob a message and ask him to send me a bunch more of these old school ones, and I'm going to explain to him why. Well, that kind of stinks. I can't really go much further. But that's okay because I want to get some dinner. FPV Trucker, you can't just tap them in with a hammer because as soon as I go to crank the arms down tight, it's just going to strip them out. They're either... I mean, it's either a problem with them not being tall enough and they don't have enough threads in them to provide enough strength. Because our outer arm bolts, you have to really jam them. Like, you have to really crank them down. It's really important. So yeah, either these new ones are a worse, a lower quality metal, or they're just not tall enough to have enough threads in them. My guess would be both. Oh god, that's totally out of focus. I forgot. Yeah, my guess is that it's both because they're a little bit shinier than these old ones, and yeah, as you can see, they're a lot shorter. Okay, so unfortunately, that's where this assembly is going to have to stop. I will reach out to Bob and give him the feedback, and I wouldn't be surprised if I don't know. Well, I'm not gonna say anything. We'll see what happens. Such is life. Hey, it is called the Prototype 5. I'll bet you in the production one, he's got the old school taller press nuts. FPV Trucker says next time put a washer on the screw. Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that, but as I said, I've installed like probably 20 plus of those old school press nuts in that exact same way, and I've never had an issue. So could have helped. Fairly Functional's here. Super Deluxe is in the house. Everybody go sub to Super. Hey, did the Acrobat get there? Super? It better have by now. Frank Nicholas says, I'm not sure I see the advantage of the press nuts unless the nuts are impossible to get to. Bad design. I really like the press nuts, and apparently the press nuts are stronger than the Nylock nuts, but the Nylock nuts are replaceable. These are actually also replaceable, so yeah, I'm a big fan of the press nuts, though. FinFPV says, I don't recommend using pliers on those press nuts. Mine chewed the nuts up pretty bad to get them in tight enough. Yeah, I agree. The pliers really chewed those up. That's why I prefer to pull them in from the bottom with the screw, like I was showing you guys. FinFPV says, do you know of any places that you have affiliate links on the MIP drivers? Just Amazon, I believe, Finn. DQ says, one thing that bugs the crap out of me about FPV cycle frames is no build instructions, no labels, any of the hardware packets, not even some general build notes other than a few tooltips. Yeah, it's true, DQ. That is true. Tiago says, if you're lucky, Kebab will link your video in the product page. Yeah, that is very true. I'll I'll think about the tech side of it, how I would do something like that. Chris Croft says Cadix Nebula, $125. I pretty much say it won't crash very well based on friends that have it and don't use that much anymore. Yeah, I'm worried about the crashability. That was one of the reasons I was not super excited to put Sharkbite into the prototype or into the Cinesplorer, because I'm not going to crash the Cinesplorer hard enough to really get good crash data out of it. So I'm really excited to put the Sharkbite VTX into something that I can generate 1 million G-forces of crash energy with. So, Huckleberry, thanks for the $5 super chat, by the way. Very cool of you, my man. Huckleberry, also, I emailed you your code for the digital copy of FPV Flight Dynamics that you won on last night's giveaway. So check your email. There's instructions in the PDF image. There's a chance that I sent you the wrong one. So if that code doesn't work, try it twice. And then just get back to me and I'll send you a different one. I think I sent you the right one, but there's a chance I sent you the wrong one. Toxic FPV says, where can I get a digital copy of FPV Dynamics? Toxic, it is on the Apple bookstore. You should just be able to search for it and find it. And Tiago says, what about putting another nut to pull them? Oh, that's a really good idea. But this one was not cross-threaded, and when I started to crank on the MIP driver, it stripped it out. So yeah, I just feel like these half-height press nuts are just not, and they're not very tall. They're not all that tall. The old school ones are the same height as a nylock nut. These new ones are a lot shorter than a nylock nut. And yeah, you gotta have enough vertical space, and you gotta have enough threads to really give enough force so you can crank down on them. All right, cool. So I am caught up on chat. I'm gonna cut this one a little bit short, 1 hour and 12 minutes. What kind of a world are we that Ciotti's not gonna make it to 2 hours of streaming? But I'm hungry, and I'm gonna go make some food. So thanks for hanging out. This was your daily Patreon stream. Yeah, if you want to get notifications about daily live streams, you got to be a patron. It'll cost you $3 whole a month, which is 10 cents a stream. And that's well worth it, whether you like it or not. CiottiFPV.com has a link to the Patreon page and a million other ways that you can support me. Thanks for hanging out. Here's some more flying to close the stream down at that really cool stadium spot. What do we got here? Super Deluxe with a $5 super chat. He says, eat well. Thank you, brother. Super cool of you. All right. I just sent it last week, so it'll probably be there soon. I will, if you don't get it in a couple days though, Super, let me know and I will. Unless it didn't. No, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it went out. It went out. I'll check the tracking. All right, guys. Here's some rando flying. If it's no good, you'll live. 571 megs, 3.85. This is the one. All right, cool. Enjoy. I will see you guys tomorrow for something Wednesday. Maybe Workbench Wednesday, maybe Whoop Wednesday. We'll see. I don't know what's happening. This is my life, boys and girls. Look at this. I was playing around with launch mode at the beginning of this. All right, guys. See you tomorrow.
We'll figure it out.
Is anybody else on 8?
No, you're good.
All right.
Yeah, I am.
Do me a favor. Nobody else plug in on 8. I'm going to be lazy. Oh, this camera looks really nice.
It does. That's pretty.